What is up, YouTube? So, for Spoot, Misery Gaming, Spoot Gaming, Gaming Spoot. We did it. Alright, so, I was asked a couple of weeks ago, and it's been sort of a recurring thing to kind of do like a little bare bones update on the metal shop. Not many things have changed outside of the addition of 24/7 Grand Colo Shop and the like the single day and the gladiator medals. So not a ton to go over, but I can sort of give you a little bit more insight on sort of things to look out for and all of that. So this is the first video that I have officially tagged as the Royal Creator Program. So after the 31st, there's going to be a form everybody can fill out each video, and they'll be giving away different stuff to people that watch videos. I don't know the exact details, but it could be resources, gems, swag. We don't have 100% on it, so that's why they haven't put the form out yet. But as of February 1st, once these videos start coming out, you'll start seeing more and more of the content creators and streamers actually have stuff to kind of sign you up for giveaways, essentially. All right, let's take a look at the boys. So the only downside here is that the Charm Metal shop hasn't really changed in a while. The equipment's been pretty much the same since the dawn of time. There is always occasional talk of this getting updated, but I'm still going to go through it just in case. So you've got the Sword of Bondage. It's a P-Attack Support 2 Tier 4 attack for a sword. It's not like the greatest on stat, but it is usable. A lot of people pulled this one originally. You've got the Book of Brutality, another Tier 4 P-Def with P-Def debuff as the Colo aid skill. You've got Tricky Wisp, who has been around forever. He's just a baby version of Library Wisp, so he's not too bad. Flute of Despair. It's the Support Boon 2, Warrior's Waltz 4. It's an okay instrument for minstrels if you need something. Obviously, if you're free to play, maxing these things out is probably a good plan. Oblivion Staff is decent enough. Healing Light 4, Recovery 1. It's only one target though, so if you've been pulling moderately well, you should have mostly 1.5 or 2 targets. Sword of Humility. You've got Barrier Break, and it's a leeching sword, so it's life leech. Gun of Incineration. I believe this is a Tier 4 attack and Metal Focus 1. Yeah, so it's okay. Like, these are good filler weapons for free-to-plays if you have 0 other things to spend your gems, to spend your medals on. Do I not have Pinocchio Paladin? I thought I did. May as well grab him for the stats, shit. That's weird. I didn't even know I didn't do it. Alright, what are the Arcana? He's got M attack 200 and she's got HP 300. Yeah. I'll probably grab the Arcana after the next set of gems. Orbs, ignore. These are like the real base armors. They're not the greatest thing since you can farm the... you can generally farm S's pretty regularly. It's got all the exchanges for your Nightmare upgrades, so all of your mucus, your oil, your bloods. You got upgrade tablets, skill books. These are to upgrade your classes. You've got all of your gems. I tend to buy out every reset. You can buy up to 100 gems and 5 of each skill gem. I tend to empty this out because usually by the end of a month I'm sitting on a couple of thousand. Obviously, if you don't have that many swinging around, be a little more careful about it. Even if you're pulling... just be careful. You can waste all of these things really, really fast. I generally wouldn't recommend grabbing the upgrade swords. Those things are almost free at this point. Dragon Shackles, depending on how many you need, grabbing a couple might be okay. When you need them, don't stock on them. If you're like one-off, generally I would recommend you go to the resource stage anyway. Same thing for pretty much all of these. Upgrade shields, armor, equipment, nah, don't worry about it. Bird masks are really the hardest thing to get right now outside of Dragon Shackles. So just be careful with those. You got Hefty Sacks. There are some Scrolls of Evolution for the... These are the New Year's weapon inscription things for the whatchamadoopit. So there you go. Oh, it's 300 crystals for 1,000. Excuse me, I completely forgot about that. So it's per month you can get, for 1,000 medals, you get 1 multi, which isn't awful, but it's not great. So it's doable. It's what you get. All right, what else do we have? Friend medals. This hasn't really changed since the dawn of time. You can get a couple of arcanas. They're both sorcerers. I don't believe I had any reason to get either of them just because they're HP. You can get 5 of these a day, which I have not grabbed these for today. So a week, that's 30. It's not too bad. It's all S equipment. Skill gems, these are generally where you're going to get down. Especially with the guild events that happen, like working in co-op and getting these things on are probably the best you're going to get. You're not going to spend a whole lot of time in here because you can only make so many friend medals a day anyway. Here's the big... So, well, here, let's go over the short one. So, royal medals, if you have them. These do not change very often at all. So, you've got 7 medal stats, which will take you 7 months to get. And then you've got 3 medals, and then you've got some nightmares at the bottom. The all 3 reliables at 5. So the 7s are okay. Obviously, check them to see if the skill is something you're looking for, because you don't really want to go too deep on these if they're not great. Like, the staff is okay. I think the book is decent. Yeah, it's support boon 2, and it reduces attack on 2 stats for 1 enemy, which is not bad. Force to Darkness is kind of niche. It's better right now because magic attack to 1.5 targets is strong, but it's also support boon 2. Obviously, avoid orbs until you don't have to anymore. The spear is okay. It's DC 2, so like if you need a DC 2 weapon, it's not terrible. It increases your own PDEF and MDEF, and the stats on it are okay if you max it. So, like, just be careful with these. Royal medals are far and few between, considering it's a couple when you log in, or when you purchase Royal mode. So just be very careful. You can blow these really, really fast. As far as the 3 ones, like, I think the 3 hammer is the only one that really sucks. No, it has Dauntless Courage too. There's one of these that's not very good, and I don't recall which one it is. There she is, the Artisan Spear. So most of them have DC 2 for the Vanguard. Imperial Scouts notes, support boon 2. It's MDEF 1, or it's MDEF 4 tier, which is... I actually like the book on the Sealed Water quite a bit. Although the biggest issue with Sealed Water is it's PDEF, so if you don't have a lot of people coming at you that are physically based, it's kind of not great. And then you've got all 3 of the original elemental trios. These are staples in pretty much every guild summon, so if somebody doesn't have them or you need to bump up your stats a little bit, all of these are pretty reliable. They don't have like the most amazing stats. They're not like paid nightmares. But their effects are very good for countering the Bell trio. Mostly because you're shooting your... so like if somebody summons UFO, you would summon Freeze Golem because you would get the bonus from water weapons and the bonus from Freeze Golem from... So you go up above what the normal ratio is. You could also just summon Shadow Lord instead, but might be a waste, probably a waste. There's a lot of strategy that sort of kind of tickles down on that. Gear of Metals going on right now. Metal Desires are your monthly medals, so you get 100 for every multi-summon. You get 5 for a 5-book summon. Most things are... every month they have a set of weapons that are 900, but the majority of weapons are 1500, so if you're looking for something specific, that's kind of what it is. Classes are 1500, Arcanas are 5, weapons are 1500, so are the Nightmares. Let me see where they are, though. There is a set of... There's always a set of weapons that are either 800 or 900. Do they not have them this month? They have to have them this month. It's been a thing literally forever. There they are. Okay, so that's right, because I already bought the other one. So we've got a staff... We've got a spear, and then insect harp. I didn't grab the first time, so I went ahead and grabbed a copy this time. So those are your monthly medals. Those are your summon medals. Everybody who's been playing knows what those are. I don't really need to explain that. Your prison key medals are for the Prison of the Abyss. It's generally just you can use the weapons to kind of bump up your rate. It has a lot of gear in it, like a lot of actual equipment. Oop. I gotta get into the... I did not grab the last set of crystals. What a dingus I am. I forgot those reset. Alright, well that's another problem I'm gonna have to deal with. So gladiator medals are your PvP medals. So you trade in your medals, and you get a free 5 pull in the gladiator pool, which is really just everything that's out to a point plus the gladiator weapons. The grand shop is where things are going to get nebulous, I guess is what I would say. Because there's a lot going on. So you have the infinite weapons. Right now, there are only 2. They both cost, I believe they both cost 22. I'll have to double check the staff. So these can be upgraded technically, quote unquote, an infinite amount of times. This just means that their skills, their stats go up a little bit, and after a certain amount of levels, they actually bump up into a different tier of skill. So like this will turn into Dauntless Courage 2, and then eventually 3, and all of these sorts of things. So it says 4, but it goes well past 4. These are good for hyper whales, mostly because most of the time the evolutions are quote-unquote free, because you have the cores from all the raids and everything. But a lot of the times it just kind of comes down to what you're doing. You can get the Half Nightmares and the Arcanas. I have already the classes. I should probably grab these too. I have the stats for them. So generally you want to grab these unless you don't have an excess of grand medals. Like if you're not doing so hot in Grand Kahlo, 1, save for your weapon and your Half Nightmare. Those are the things you want first. Like for Minstrels, we haven't had our Half Nightmare yet, and it's not out, so you should be saving exactly enough, if not more, to get your Minstrel Half Nightmare, period. You should never go below that number. I have all of mine, so I'll show you what they are at the bottom. Samsara Bondages, these are the materials for upgrading these, so you'll need, like, I think they're 1 a month, if memory serves. Oh, they're 3 a month, yeah. Or they're 3 I have access to. There are a bunch of one-off weapons that are pretty cheap. None of these are particularly great, but if you have an excess of medals, you can max limit break them, which is okay. Like, always check them just to make sure there's something you can actually use, because some of the skills on these are, like, kind of poopy. Like, it's support boon 1 on the book. Harper Brutality, I believe, is also support boon 1. It's got MDef up to 2 targets, though, which isn't too bad. So, like, it's usable, though it is not great, and I've almost got that thing, like, maxed out. You've got a couple of hammers that are alright. Like, just check them to make sure. Anything below that, don't use your medals on, like, period, if you can help it. Like, you're not gonna need any of the books. You're not gonna really need nightmare stuff. The only thing I could even... I don't even really want to tell you to get are, like, the skill gems, just because the SRs are pretty good. Honestly, be careful spending in here. Like, Gran is once a month. Depending on where you slide, you may make anywhere from 50 medals to, like, 500 medals. I don't know what the top end is. Like, I've only made top 30 once, so... and I don't remember it off the top of my head. I could probably go and find it, but it's inconsequential. Like, don't go crazy in this shop unless it's something that can give you an incremental increase in either power or survivability. Like I said, these skill gems are great, but for free-to-plays, if you're not, depending on how far down the food chain you are, you may not be seeing enough medals to really grab these every month. So while they are good, I don't necessarily want everybody to go like, well, I have to get them every time. Like, yes, they are good, but just be careful. You can kind of get lost in the sauce down here. Generally, find a weapon in here that you can use. Like I said, I've almost bought out the Harper Brutality entirely because it's not a bad one, even though the Kahlo skill is not particularly great, but it's usable in a lot of fights because we come up against a lot of magic attack teams. So that is pretty much it. We do rotate event medals, like right now we've got the gear medal going on. So you can go in and get, like, you know, the cog golem, you can get the skill gems. Like, generally for guild events, you just want to empty these shops out. Like, that's the bare bones requirement I would tell you for. And then Charm Medal, your big hits are your 300 monthly. Same thing for your Medal of the Abyss. You want to hit enough to get your 300 monthly, and don't be an idiot like me. Gladiator Medal, just check it every day or two. Because generally, like, I'll just show you that real quick. Just because some people have an issue with it. So I got like 63 extra just sitting there hanging out. So we'll do the summon real quick as a go home. Yeah, it tells you what all it is. So it's 150 per 5. Oh god, I hate this thing. I have not gotten anything out of this since it came out, so good luck to anybody that has. This is gonna make me a liar right here. Oh, it's got 1 book. It's not gonna be an SR though. Yep, see, War Song's Echo, which I pulled about 300 times. But that's pretty much it for the medal shop. There's not a whole lot to go deep on. Free-to-play players, you especially want to pay attention to the charm medal. Abuse your friend medals. Try to get as many of those a day as you can, just because those go a real long way for catching you up to some of the small stuff. Prison medals are very useful. 300 gems a month from those are wild. Like, it is very useful to have. And it doesn't really take that long to get it either. Like, it's an hour maybe of playing, and generally the levels aren't particularly hard, so you can AFK through half of them if your team's decent enough. The royal medals, if you are a royal user, you want to kind of be careful of, but there is some value in there, especially in the nightmares and maybe a couple of weapons you could be doing. So that is it for me. We're trying to put together kind of a wider coverage state of Sino now that we have a couple other content creators to play with. We've got there's a couple of cosplayers, there's a couple of people that were in Asia primarily, we've got a couple of JP players. There's a lot of stuff going on that we can kind of goof around with and make friends and make new stuff for, so not a too big of a deal. Other than that, you guys have a good night, enjoy, and like, comment, subscribe, do all that nonsense. And if there's something else you want me to update from way back in the day, or something you may not know or may not think you know, I'll go ahead and put together kind of like a greatest hits in case if people want it. I know there aren't that many new players kind of buzzing in or out, but you never know. Some people don't know things. All right, everybody, have a good one.